I knew a girl there, a Mexican girl named Adeline, and she was a good friend of mine. First girl I ever took on a date, actually.
What?
Junior college, yeah. And I really liked her. She and I got along great. And we were having lunch sitting on the lawn at school, and having lunch with a couple other football players that were friends of ours, and I think there was another girl. Anyhow, somebody came up and told us the war started. They just bombed Pearl Harbor. And that's when the war started, when I was sitting there in school. And that's when I heard it.
What were you thinking about?
I thought, oh man, they'll call me now. I really don't know what I thought, how terrible it was that the sneakiness of the Japanese, they snuck and attacked us. And we hadn't gotten into the war we had not gone to help England before that time, because we were pacifists. We weren't going to take part in this war. And and then when the Japanese attacked us, everything changed. We sent troops to England. We started fighting Germany and Japan and Italy and the German allies.
When did they start calling it World War II? Were they already calling it that?
I guess so, because World War I was 20 years earlier.
Right, but I mean, did they start calling it that before the U.S. was in it?
Oh, I don't think so. No, it wasn't a world war. Well, maybe so. I don't think so. I don't remember it being called. We talked about the war, but it was just a war until England got involved in Germany against Germany, you see, until Germany invaded France, and then
Why did we get involved in the European conflict? Why didn't we just say, well, they didn't attack us?
England went to help France.
I know, but why didn't we just go to war against Japan?
Well, we were helping England and the Allies, England and France.
Had Hitler and Japan already made a deal? And that's why we went to war with one, we went to war with both?
Yeah, but we also were helping Germany. We were helping England and France. We were Lend-Lease program. We were giving them, I think it was before 41, in 41, but before December 7th, when we were giving them, helping with warships and things, you know.
Well, we didn't have to help France for very long.
No, we were helping them with warships, and we thought England and France could beat Germany. I guess. Why would we get involved? But we got involved when England specifically, it got wiped out at Dunkirk. Yeah. See, the Germans, they were moving into this. Before that, they were all going east of Germany, or yeah, it would be east, huh? And they were taking over, you know, all the Balkans. Well, we weren't involved in that at all, and nobody cared. And well, I guess people cared. Obviously, it was a terrible thing, but nobody thought it was their war. And Hitler didn't go into. He went into France before he went into Russia.
Oh yeah.
And he wanted, and when he went into France, he sent an emissary to England to
say that that's all we want.
Yeah. Well, help us. Stop. We were not going to attack you. This was after Dunkirk. The poor English, because he thought he'd slaughtered the whole army. And thank God he made the decision, or somebody did, not to go across the channel. Had he decided to cross the channel, he would have taken England. And then, to get back into Europe, with no England as a base, we probably never could have made it. Unless we went through North Africa and came back up that way. And of course by then he'd been defeated by, or was fighting the Russians, and he couldn't fight on two fronts, you know, that's what killed him. He was fighting the Englishmen and Boston, you know, and fighting, well, I guess he wasn't fighting the Englishmen then, was he? Yeah, he was. Where did the world, yeah, that was afterward, later, when he was fighting us. When he tried, and then he went after Germany and us, and he couldn't handle that. I mean, went after Stalin or Russia and us.
Yeah.
And we were there with the English, say, but mostly United States. Was French wouldn't fight it. I spent about 2 years. I signed up, probably, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was earlier in 41, probably. And I didn't get called till 43, early in 43. But I would go to school. I went to junior college. In the summers, I would just hang out, I guess you'd say. Hitchhiking to the beach, Santa Monica, or Redondo Beach, or Newport Beach. And then I also, in summers, worked at, I think, as I mentioned in the past, at the refinery, and various and other sundry jobs that I might be able to get. It was a time of, our family was not rich, so there was never a time when there was a lot of money around, but I had enough money to get by, and I owned a car. And so we're just, I was just sort of hanging out, nothing really exciting happening one way or another, making a few bucks, waiting to get called up to service. Sort of put yourself on standby, and you don't want to do anything.
You don't do anything permanent.
Nobody would give you a permanent job, I don't think. You're still on, because you're on standby, except the packing company. Of course, maybe they had a hard time getting people. I think they must have had a hard time getting guys going to college to work down there in that stuff and tongues. Didn't bother me. I was making money. I didn't need much. I was living at home. Of course, my mother was feeding me and taking care of the laundry and all that. I'd pay in that room there that I grew up in. I'd pay her, I don't know, I doubt if I paid her anything before the war. After the war, I paid her. Used to pay her $40 a month for room and board, which is pretty cheap,
How was she paying for it?
Huh?
How was she paying for all of it?
What?
How was she living?
My mother?
Yeah.
Well,
your dad was still around at this point?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sure. He didn't die till 19. He died in 60. He died when he was in 1971. He died. So he was there.
Yeah, you were only 18.
Yeah,
sure,
sure, he was there.
Oh, okay.
He worked the whole time.
Oh, okay.
He worked in the oil fields.
How did he feel about the war and you going and all that stuff? Did you talk to him about it?
I didn't ask him for permission or anything when I went to sign up particularly. He knew. I always told him what I was going to do. My mother trusted me completely, She used to let me go on freight trains and things and never say no. And she would tell me, don't do this and don't do that. I listened to her. I didn't swear, believe it or not. I didn't drink, and I didn't smoke. I hated drinking because my dad would get drunk.
Yeah.
And it just bothered the living hell out of me that he would drink too much. I couldn't take that. That really, maybe that's why I've always had such a real hang-up about people getting drunk, even though I did myself, I really thought less of him than I would have normally because he drank that much. I once told him that I thought less of him because of that. Should have kept my mouth shut.
What happened?
Well, that doesn't make for good relationships, to treat your dad like that. And I shouldn't have told him, what difference did it make? This was a long time after the war, not when I was a young kid.
Nothing he could do about it.
Huh?
Nothing he could do about it at that point.
He couldn't change the past. He had quit drinking. He didn't drink then. And there was no reason to tell him that. He and I sometimes didn't get along too good. I couldn't work for him. I couldn't do it. If we'd start a project together, I'd get so mad. I couldn't stand it.
Now you know how it feels.
I know. I get really mad. Not the fact that we would have totally opposite ways to go about this. We both wanted to achieve the same end.
Yeah.
But we went in from totally different directions to get there.
I probably would have gotten along fine with your dad.
What'd you say, Jude?
I think nothing.
She said she was just thinking the same thing about what I said.
Oh. No, it was, even as an adult, a late adult, when my dad was in his 60s, we still couldn't work. We tried to do a project, and I remember the last time I tried to do a simple project, hang a lamp over a kitchen table. And I got so mad. I said, God damn it, if you want to do it that way, do it by yourself. And I stormed out, you know.
Sounds very familiar.
I shouldn't tell you all these stories. No, he and I was much closer to my mom. He liked my brother. I'm convinced he liked my brother better than he liked me. There was no question in my mind.
Why is that?
Whether it was true or not, I don't know. But that's the impression I got. Because my dad was uneducated. He was, I think he went to the 8th grade, maybe. I don't think he made it to the 8th, but he may have. And it wasn't his fault. You know, he had, both parents died when his mother died, and when she was giving birth to another child. His father died shortly thereafter. He was 15, 16 or 17. He had to, I think he was 16. He had to go to Arizona to live with his uncle because there was nobody to take care of him. They didn't have anything. And so he went to Arizona. His brother, I guess, inherited the ranch there, or the farm. I don't know. I don't even think that happened. He never had a farm. No property that I know of. The Reeds lived in a little teeny community, New Berlin, New York, and they had a family cemetery there. In fact, that's where he got my name, off of a tombstone in that family cemetery. But, and he had a hard life, and he was relatively uneducated. And of course, I thought I knew more than he did.
Yeah.
Because
you probably did.
And I did know more.
I mean, you probably thought it.
And
it may have been true, but...
And I think I felt like he resented me because I knew more than he did. And that was probably not true. He was probably proud of me because I educated myself. But there was something there. He liked, and my brother was more like him. So.
Maybe he was just more comfortable with your brother.
He was.
Yeah.
Because my brother was more like him. Worked more with his hands than he did with his head, you know. And whatever it was. And when he was older, of course, we got along, you know. But my mom told me that when I got shot down, his hair turned gray. You know, really hit him hard. That was before he knew I was alive.
Yeah.
But later years we got along okay. Great when we didn't. We got along great until we decided we tried to do a project together.
Sounds just like you and me, Dad. Now I'm convinced it is you and not me. That's the problem.
Well, I was convinced it was him and not me.